Norwich tonight, an imminent game by the time this is published. I'm looking forward to it. I do think this week is a real opportunity for West Ham to go and progress and possibly get 6 points out of it. And I think where we're at in terms of the table, how tight things are with Arsenal, Spurs, I appreciate they've got games in hand. Man United slipping up in terms of form. There is a chance for West Ham here to solidify at least, to capitalise on what's going on around us. And in terms of the team's form coming into this game, appreciate it was the FA Cup fixture and slightly different maybe in terms of atmosphere and environment, but against Palace, against Watford, we're scoring goals. Going forward, we're looking much more accomplished. I felt that defensively and offensively, we maintain a balance against Leeds that, listen, I think West Ham, particularly since the injuries to Zuma, injuries to Creswell, it's been very difficult to achieve that. And of course, that comes down to personnel. It comes down to Diop and Dawson, who I felt did okay. I appreciate Dawson's struggles with distribution, and we know Diop's faults in terms of decision-making, but it was improved. And I think largely speaking, because of Declan Rice dropping in at times, we know Lanzini in terms of his influence on build-up. Vlasic as well gives us a different type of number 10, as we've discussed previously, I think, in terms of him dealing with possession, his ball retention, attracting players, and then going on to beat them. It means that West Ham don't necessarily have to play with a slightly higher line. We can play with a mid-block. Now, against Norwich, it's going to be a game that West Ham, of course, have got to take control of possession. I think Norwich will relinquish that. I know they've got some good players. I appreciate they are very far down the table. In fact, they are the worst team in the league currently. But you look at Todd Cantwell, Rashika scored a goal in the FA Cup the other day, Pookie as well with his movement. There may be opportunities with them on the counter. I think they'll be limited. If I'm honest, I don't even look at Pookie in terms of his threat on the counter. I think it's just his movement generally when Norwich have got the ball. And I don't expect Norwich to be able to control possession in that sense. I think as well, tactically, we're coming up against the 4-3-3. That's what I would anticipate. And West Ham are going to play a 4-2-3-1. So there are opportunities to overload the midfield regularly. I expect that with Lanzini and Vlasic if they play. I think Bowen will be really interesting. I think we've seen obviously a progression with Jarrod Bowen so far this season, and a lot of his movement in coming out from the right-hand side and into those central areas and being able to carry the ball should commit Norwich's centre-backs, create space for the likes of Mikel Antonio, who I feel, particularly against Palace, was reverting more to being a number 9 that's playing between those spaces and playing on the shoulder. And I think that's what we're going to have to do against Norwich. If they're not going to commit men forward, if they are going to be conservative, West Ham have got to make those choices. And I think Vlasic, in terms of his directness, Antonio, Bowen, we have enough there in terms of an attacking 4 to really entice them to do so. And of course, if Souček is ready and available, and again, I'm not too sure with the COVID situation, that's a rumor that's come out recently. If he is available, then there is, of course, an opportunity. You introduce a third man run into the box. You can create and you can overload from a possession-based stance in their final third. I don't see this as a game that West Ham have to commit the fullbacks forward in Fredericks and Johnson. In my opinion, that's who it's going to be. And therefore, I don't feel that we have to necessarily lose control of the game. I think it's a real chance for West Ham to show how we've evolved slightly and achieved a bit of a balance defensively and offensively, but it is also an opportunity to see our attacking 4 be clinical. I guess the question marks will be over A, whether Souček is going to be included in the side, B, whether Moyes rotates. I believe he won't do. I think we've seen this in the past. We've seen Moyes going into a 3-game week and essentially saying, if I start with this team on the Sunday, I'm happy to persist with that until the following Sunday. So I think we'll see a full strength West Ham side. I think it's an opportunity that West Ham can capitalise on, as I've just discussed. But the only change may be Fornals to come in. And I don't really have an issue with it, if I'm honest. I think there's opportunities to win the ball higher up. I think Fornals, if you're going to play him in a number 10, could offer that. But on current form, you can't displace Lanzini and you can't displace Vlasic unless you're looking at a rotation option. So in terms of my prediction for the game, I think West Ham are going to win 2-0. I think it'll be comfortable. I think we'll control it, as I've just said. I think set pieces will hurt Norwich from. Norwich still have minor threats, sporadic threats. I think you could look at Max Aarons possibly down that left-hand side. It could be an issue if they overload. But again, I think Vlasic, as we've seen him grow, not only in possession, but just in terms of his understanding of the tempo in the league and positionally as well. If he offers protection to Johnson, which I don't feel that he necessarily needs at all times, then I think we'll be more than fine. But it'll be a different type of game. Of course it will. And I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to the West Ham Way if you're new. Check out the Patreon account in the description below. All the transfer rumours, all the tangible transfer rumours will be in there. I will return for a post-match of the Norwich game tonight. It'll be very, very late, but nonetheless, I will do it. Fingers crossed we get the 3 points. I think someone said that if we win the game today, we'll temporarily go fourth, which just at least for the scene and at least for the status, West Ham will look a lot better than maybe the table actually tells. But to be honest, this month's big. I think this month's a real opportunity for West Ham to capitalise, as I've just said. And I think there's a possibility that with a successful transfer window, that we're in a real healthy look by the beginning of February. So fingers crossed, take care everybody, and I'll see you all very